At sunrise, the black ship reached Pylos. The shore was crowded. Thousands of people had gathered beside the sea in 9 great companies, offering black bulls to Poseidon, lord of the earthquake. Smoke rose from the altars. Meat turned on spits. Prayers and voices carried across the water. Telemachus stepped ashore beside Athena, who had taken the appearance of mentor. He had crossed the sea to question Nestor, the oldest and most respected survivor of the Trojan War. But now that the moment had come, his courage failed. How could he approach such a man? Telemachus had never learned how to speak confidently before his elders. Athena told him that some words would come from his own heart, and a god would supply the rest. They walked toward the feast. Nestor sat among his sons while the people prepared the sacrifice. His youngest son, Pisistratus, saw the strangers and welcomed them without first demanding their names. He took them by the hand, seated them on soft fleeces, and placed food before them. Then he gave the cup of wine to Athena. "Pray to Poseidon," he said. "You have arrived at his feast." Athena was pleased by the young man's courtesy. She prayed that Poseidon would honor Nestor, his sons, and all the people of Pylos, and that Telemachus's journey would succeed. Only after the strangers had eaten did Nestor ask who they were. Telemachus answered with the courage Athena had promised him. He came from Ithaca, he said, seeking news of his father, Odysseus. The other leaders who fought at Troy had known fates. Some returned, some died. But Odysseus had vanished so completely that no one could even say where his body lay. "Tell me the truth," Telemachus asked. "Do not soften it, because you pity me." Nestor looked at him and remembered the war. Too many great men had died: Achilles, Ajax, Patroclus, and Nestor's own son, Antilochus. The Greeks had suffered for 10 years before Troy. Yet in all their councils, Nestor said, no one had matched Odysseus in intelligence. Father and son even spoke alike. But after Troy fell, the victorious army broke apart. Athena was angry with the Greeks. Agamemnon wanted the fleet to remain until they had made sacrifice. Menelaus wanted to sail immediately. Harsh words divided the brothers, and the army split between them. Nestor departed with Menelaus. Odysseus first sailed with them, then turned his ships back toward Agamemnon. From that moment, Nestor had heard nothing certain about him. He could tell Telemachus only what had become of the others. Some reached home safely. Others were scattered. Agamemnon returned to Mycenae and was murdered by Aegisthus, the man who had taken his throne and drawn Queen Clytemnestra into betrayal. But Aegisthus did not escape judgment. Agamemnon's son Orestes returned from exile and killed the murderer of his father. His name, Nestor said, would be remembered for generations. Then the old king studied Telemachus. "You, too, are strong and well-grown. Be brave, so that those born after you will speak your name with honor." Telemachus wished he could believe such a future waited for him. Orestes had avenged his father. Telemachus could not even remove the suitors consuming his house. Nestor asked whether Ithaca had truly chosen to tolerate them. Perhaps Odysseus would still return. And if Athena favored Telemachus as openly as she had once favored his father, the suitors would soon regret their courtship. Telemachus thought that hope too great. Athena rebuked him. A god could save a man even from very far away? Better to suffer for years and finally reach home than to return quickly and die at your own hearth, as Agamemnon had. Telemachus turned again to Nestor. How had Agamemnon been killed? Where had Menelaus been when his brother needed him? Nestor told the story. While the Greeks fought at Troy, Aegisthus remained safely at home. At first, Clytemnestra resisted him. Agamemnon had left a loyal singer to guard his household. Aegisthus carried that man to a deserted island and abandoned him. With the last loyal witness removed, the queen entered Aegisthus's house. Menelaus might have stopped them, but the sea held him away. His finest helmsman died at Sunium. Then a storm broke his fleet near Crete. 5 ships were driven all the way to Egypt, and years passed before Menelaus saw Greece again. By then, Agamemnon was dead. Aegisthus had ruled for 7 years. In the 8th, Orestes returned and ended his reign. Nestor warned Telemachus not to remain away from Ithaca too long. The suitors would consume whatever they found, but he should continue to Sparta, where Menelaus might know more about Odysseus. Nestor offered horses, a chariot, and one of his sons as guide. Night fell over the feast. Telemachus and Athena prepared to return to their ship, but Nestor would not allow the son of Odysseus to sleep on a bare deck while his house held blankets and beds. Athena agreed that Telemachus should remain. She said she would return to the crew. Then she spread her wings and flew away in the form of an eagle. Everyone stared. Nestor took Telemachus by the hand. No ordinary traveler had accompanied him. The goddess who had guarded Odysseus was now guarding his son. "You will not be a weak man," Nestor said, "when a god walks beside you while you are still so young." At dawn, Nestor prepared an offering for Athena. A heifer's horns were covered with gold. His household gathered, prayed, and shared the ceremonial meal. Telemachus was washed, given a fresh cloak and tunic, and seated beside the old king. Then Nestor ordered the chariot made ready. Pisistratus took the reins. Telemachus climbed beside him. The horses carried them out through the gates of Pylos and across the open country toward Sparta. Telemachus had come to Nestor hoping for news of his father. He left without certainty, but he carried something else: the example of Orestes, the blessing of an old king, and proof that Athena had not abandoned the house of Odysseus,